In the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Oh God, oh Heavenly Father, all glory and honor goes to you for the times that we've fallen short, for the times that we have not lived up to your expectations. We ask your forgiveness, and we ask for your help to help us do better in the future. We thank you for bringing us all together in this community to be born in such a wonderful place. Help us to discern what is best for our community. Help us to listen to the needs and wants of the other. Help us to discern what is best for the children in our community. Help us to do anything that we need to do to help with the special needs people in our community. And to look in our hearts and to do what you call us to do. We ask all these things in your name through Jesus Christ, your Son, who reigns and lives with you forever and ever. Amen.
Amen.
Okay, the first thing we're going to do is a presentation of the award for bravery. Oh, I'm sorry. You want to do the roll call?
Thank you. Trustee Ito. Here. Trustee Bonomo.
Here.
Trustee Rivera.
Here.
Trustee Conley.
Here.
Supervisor Ballich.
Here.
We have a quorum.
Okay, so we're going to, you want to go around?
Yeah, I'll go around.
We're going to do a presentation for award of bravery and courage to an 8-year-old Gigi Glenn, I hope I said the name right, of School District 92 for entering Reed School Elementary without wearing a mask after Sangamon County Circuit Judge Raylan Vintraw issued a temporary restraining order that prevents the schools to require students to wear masks in schools.
Okay. Gigi, would you, your mom, grandpa, and grandma, and dad come on, stand up here for 1 second? Would she know? Yeah, she'll give her yourself. Okay. Hi, Gigi. Welcome. All right, Gigi, welcome to our meeting this evening. Hi. So, as most of you are aware, Illinois Judge of Sangamon County, Raylene Briscoe, issued a restraining order on February 5th, 2022, that prevents school districts from requiring masks. When a ruling is made by a judge, our board believes it is important to adhere to the ruling and act accordingly. By defying the ruling, the school board and administration shows disregard for rules. How then can we expect our children to follow these or any rules? Shouldn't our children and their parents have the right to follow what rule they feel is best for them? Following the judge's ruling, Gigi chose not to wear a mask to school. Other students or teachers may have decided to wear their masks, and that was perfectly fine, or that was their choice. In case anyone has forgotten, one of the reasons that we live in the United States of America is for freedom, and one of those freedoms is freedom of choice. We would like to commend Gigi for standing up for what she believes in. We'd like to offer her, honor her with a small gift and a plaque. All right.
Hey, this isn't on the agenda because we didn't plan this out until it was kind of quick. Chris Locacious is fire chief for a number of years and served the community real well. And we want to recognize all the hard work and service that he did. You know, over the years, he's been on the board, the village board, he was on our planning commission. You know, so the guy's been active in the township for a long, long time. So we want to give him a certificate of appreciation, or township certificate. I got to read it right. Hey, God bless
you. It's been a pleasure the last 28 years being in the fire service. I was been at Homer for 20. Last 5 years have been chief. And it's always been great working with the board and the township. We've always been a partnership. And in those 28 years, I spent a lot of time away from my family. Birthdays I missed, graduations, a lot of milestones with my kids. So when the opportunity came, when I turned 51 to retire, I felt it was time for me to spend some more time with my family. And you know what? Someone else can carry the torch in the community as a public service. Because after 28 years, you look back and I don't want to miss any more time with my family. So once again, from the bottom of my heart, I thank everyone in this room, especially the Township Board, for all the years of support. Thank you.
The babies you delivered, thank you too.
I told the story back at the village board meeting that one of the highlights of my career was when Kmart went to Sears Essentials for that brief time, we delivered more babies in that parking lot than ever. On the way to Pales Community, and I delivered 2 of them. So that was the highlight of my career.
Wow.
Okay, we got public comment now. The clerk will call you up. The attorney is going to read a statement.
As you see, we have a full room. A number of people have signed up to make a comment, so the supervisory board asked me to just remind everyone what their policy is. All right, so public comment is just that. It's an opportunity for public comment. The board will be following their previously adopted rules governing public comment, and each commenter will be given their allotted time, which is up to 3 minutes. The board will not respond, but the officials generally may discuss issues with residents during the regular office business hours if you want to follow up with them individually. Disruption or lack of decorum will be grounds for removal from the meeting. So please allow other people to speak and don't interrupt.
There's a police officer.
My understanding is that there is a police officer in the hall to help keep the peace. Okay, so hopefully it wouldn't be necessary. But, thank you.
No pressure. Thank you.
I have a quick question, because there's a stranger on the dais. You're not Ross Seckler. What's your name?
My name is Mike Hayes, Hayes.
Thank you.
Okay, we will start with Sherry Bonicki Cooling.
Thank you. Okay. All right, so I'd like to address Agenda Item 6B, letter from the Attorney General. I'm assuming since it's about the response to my complaint to the Attorney General. We will not stop holding this board accountable for their words and actions until they are for all of the people in Homer Township, not just some of the people who share their personal beliefs. We will not stop just because Karen Joe's husband wants to dress like us women and make videos mocking us. We will not stop just because a village trustee follows me to restaurants to take pictures of my family and my kids. We will not stop because Vicki reads Attorney General letters and he posts them on the township website. In fact, please do let people know that we're fighting for them to be heard too. You can keep writing agendas to only appeal to those who share your personal opinions and to keep away those that don't. But understand this, those Attorney General and the state's attorney letters are going to continue until the Homer Township Board starts to represent all of the Homer Township residents and stops operating in the gray areas of the Open Meetings Act. If you'd like to save money, I suggest you stop having the township lawyers write letters to agencies about things that are completely irrelevant to the township. Or stop buying unneeded vehicles to give to friends or family you've hired. You know, the ones hired without need and, you know, without any job openings posted. Or maybe we don't need a new well on Trantina for the dogs this year. Trustee Bonomo, you did accuse me and my minor children of going outside to key cars in this parking lot after we exited the last meeting. I sent you the video, you saw it. You owe us an apology. If you don't want to give one, that's fine, but you're going to be held accountable for the things that you say, during public meetings especially. Personal opinions aside. Thank you.
Sorry, Judy, if I
It's okay, you probably can't spell it anyways. Okay, I'm addressing 7C. Superintendent is a word that Steve has been using a lot this past week. It's also a word that Steve cannot spell. And if the board thinks that I'm going to give Steve the reins of my child's education, They are very much mistaken. Steve is blatantly abusing his position as Township Supervisor. This is not in his job description, and managing 4,000 kids' education is way, way above his pay grade. Steve is acting like a 2-year-old because he did not get his way. When the groups of moms who are supporters of his decided to harass kids as they were trying to go to school on Monday morning, he just went ballistic. And you went after the superintendent. And when everything backfires, you attack. And this has been going on, an ongoing problem with the board forever. Trustee Bonomo, do you remember a comment you made on Facebook to a young man about why don't you go back washing dishes at Red Lobster and then questioning his sexuality? Disgusting. Mark Garwin, calling the superintendent stupid intendant? Childish. Brent Porfilio threatened to kick someone's ass on Facebook over the masks. Again, what's that all about? It's all documented. I wish I could say this was a one-time deal, but no. We have Karen Joe's husband dressing up every weekend as residents. And you, Steve, sharing it 60 times on Facebook, over and over again. And he doesn't do it just once, he does it twice. He gets another wig, gets some more women's clothing, makes another video. And what do? You share it again. Are you proud of this? It's embarrassing. It's totally embarrassing. And if you think that you are qualified to replace the superintendent, you're nuts. You're absolutely nuts. I think you should resign. I'm going to ask the board for your resignation because this is completely out of control. This is not in your job description. This is a blatant abuse of power, and you have no business messing with the school board or the superintendent whatsoever.
Angie Dreyer.
Hi, I'm back again to speak on behalf of the seniors. I'm a resident at the Founders Crossing Senior Housing Community of Homer Glen. I've been living at the Founders Crossing since May 1st, 2018, and I'd like to speak about the rent increase. On September 1st, 2021, all residents of Founders Crossing had their rent increased by $50. We have received a letter as of March 1st, 2022, our rent will be increased another $50. Our rent, so far, within 6 months, our rent has been increased $100. Rent does not include any utilities, and I have a little sidebar. Me personally, I live by myself. My husband has recently passed. My water bill is on a budget of $103.47. My ComEd bill is $50. My night core I just got today was $182.29. And I live in a 950 square foot apartment. Go figure those, okay? So with that, there are 30 units at Founders Crossing, and at $950 after March 1st, at 30 units, that's $28,500 per month. Then multiply $28,500 by 12 months is $342,000 a year. So I guess I know we're not supposed to ask questions, but I just want to know, how's that money being utilized? I ask this question because my concern is this board is looking to increase the residents of Founders Crossing's rent to $102,000 a month. How in good conscience is this taking care of our treasured seniors, as we are referred to on the Homer Township website?
They should all be ashamed.
Thank you.
Read fast. Several things, several comments. First, Mr. Porfilio, Rose, I want to say thank you for getting you and your team for getting the streets clear enough so that it could get to O'Hare. just as big snowstorms slowed down, and our streets, maybe just my section, but our streets were cleaner than the tollways. Well, thank you. Religion. You open your meetings with prayers, which you talk the talk. I'm asking that you walk the walk by adhering to the basic tenet of the top 3 world religions, which is love your neighbors, treat them as you want to be treated. All of them. Not just the Republicans, not just whatever, all of them. When you were elected to take care of every one of us. You work for us. The election's over, and I'd like you to place community above politics by encouraging cooperation and not displaying divisiveness. I've lived here for 33 years. It's only the past couple of years that I've really been ashamed and embarrassed of things that are going on here. And it's an uncomfortable feeling in all those years. For example, you chose to give a Township award to a young child who defied CDC safety recommendations. I believe that's not a good precedent and encourages students to disrespect authority. And I have no problem with what she did, except that it's divisive and eliminates the other kids. It's discriminatory. Kids who wear masks to protect their contact should not be made to feel that they are doing something wrong by wearing the mask. And that's how it comes off. I feel sorry for those kids. Or that they're not as worthy as kids whose parents belong to a different political party. Keep politics out of the school. That's all I'm asking. 7A on the agenda. This is just a suggestion. Based on personal experience in the work world, I suggest that you did not pay Jen Consolino a percentage of awarded grants for her grant writing services. While it may not be technically illegal, it's definitely unethical, and it's a practice frowned upon by all the nonprofits I've ever worked with. I tried it once, I got creamed. Okay, so think that over, see if you want to pay her on a per job or per hour or per something, but percentage of loans approved is not a good way to go. And you may be placing Jen in a tenuous situation since she already holds an elected position in the village. Last one, Mr. Bonomo. I posted some ideas in the village square about a week ago. I didn't tag you, I tagged Nicole. It was regarding seniors that are unable to leave their buildings, and some don't have family. And it was in relation to masks and COVID, and I suggested that kids would send letters and things like that. Well, I didn't expect the response I got. A lot of people were really interested, thought it was a good idea.
Karen, I'm sorry, would you mind talking to Mike about this later, because your 3 minutes are up?
Okay, I'll just say
That sounds like a good idea.
If you want me to do it for you, I'll do it under your name. That's all.
Thank you, Karen.
Oh, and happy Valentine's.
Thank you. Roy, Adcock?
Here goes. How are we doing today? I'm Roy Adcock from the Lockport Heights Sanitary District, and I also think we're going to come in here and have a great show, but no, we're going to be nice. And I showed up and thought we were going to be here for on the agenda, but we're not, and that's okay because you guys did cover it last month, so that's a great thing. You guys work great with us for our grants. The township has always worked great for getting grants for us, so we look forward to the next one. You guys approved it, so hopefully this year we'll be getting this, finishing up the second half of the grant. I just want to thank everybody for that. It's a great thing. We got an issue with problems over in our sanitary district there. That'll be coming forward. So, and on the issue of grants, I know you just tapped, I don't know what your name was. And on that issue though, and no offense to Jennifer, no offense, don't take it personally. I don't know why the township though would need to hire another person, because in the past we never did before. Speaking on behalf of the district, we do all the writing of grants. We do all the paperwork. We submit it to the township just reviews it. They have the attorney review it, you guys review it, and that's it. It gets submitted. So I don't know if there's anything else, that, unless you guys are going to be doing grants. I know, believe Brett was going to be going for another grant, possibly I think for the road district, so he'll be writing his own grant anyhow. So I don't know where you would need to hire any outside services in payment, because if you look at ours, we got a $1 million grant coming. 1%, that's another $10,000, and would that come out of the grant, or would that be something for future grants? Hopefully that's not coming out of our grant coming up, hopefully. I don't know. Like I said, you'll be telling me all about it later when we're done, because that's what you said. So I know I'll be hearing all about that one, so it's okay. I'll take the heat for that one when we're done. And at the end was the truck one that I was read about. Is that truck hopefully gonna stay for the park district, in the park district? And that, it was not a dig to anybody, it was just a simple question that hopefully we'll hear about when you guys are done. You'll hear about it, which would be nice to have public comment somewhere later on, or a second set of public comments for maybe for future use, maybe put 2 sets of public comment where you can come in later and have a second set. Or answer questions. I know you made a ordinance that says you don't answer questions, but simple answering questions would eliminate all of this for people who know the answer. We do it at our meetings. If somebody asks a question, we answer. It makes it simple. So, yes, we did, but that's okay. See, I was answering the question. I was just answering the question right there. See how simple it is? So, there it is. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Roy. Alan Moriarty.
I have the privilege to be called Mom by a State of Illinois Special Olympics medal winner. I've been involved with special recreation for 15 years. Some of the best days of my life have been spent in the company of athletes and angels, watching cooperation, respect, and empowerment being granted to and by people of widely varying abilities. In the 2020 seasons, all sports were halted throughout the state. All programs through SRAs, social, and educational were halted as well. There was no questioning this decision. It was devastating to the participants. For many of them, special rec is the only physical, social, and emotional activity that they have. When all the schools opened the summer of 2021, and I witnessed over and over again a group of angry, insulting adults appearing at board meetings and protesting in front of schools, I was so grateful that my child had aged out of the system and he would not have to face that vitriol directed at him and his special needs peers, because they are all high risk and mandates were put in place to protect them. When special recreation and Special Olympics went cautiously back to in-person, they did so with strict guidelines and masks required for participants and spectators. Guess what? No one protested. No one defied the rules. I don't know that I need to explain to you that for some of these people in Special Olympics, a mask can be a real irritant, a foreign thing. Yet everyone understands that they're looking out for each other, for their fellow athletes, for their families. They are still, and most likely will be for some time to come, competing and socializing fully masked. They are good citizens in our community. It hurts them and their families to know that others don't care enough to look out for them.
All right, thank you.
I'm louder than your cough, Grant.
Giada Roddy, did I say that right? Giada? Hi, Giada.
Hi, I'm Giada Roddy. I'm the proud daughter of Karen and Jay Roddy. And today I just wanted to congratulate Gigi for doing what most children wouldn't do. I'm very thankful for kids like her because they give other kids the strength to do what they were told is not right. Good job, Gigi. We're all proud of you.
Thank you, Giada. That's very sweet. Missy Chanarana.
I'm here this evening because I wanted to review what the township government, according to your website, says. It says the township performs 3 mandatory functions: administering a general assistance program to qualifying residents, maintaining township road district highways and bridges, and appraising property values. Nowhere on there does it say that you should be sending letters on behalf of the township to other agencies, school boards, legislative. These are the roles that you have been elected to do as township government. In the December 21st Patch article, Steve, you wrote about less government. What you're doing here is not less government, it's you stepping into other people's business. And that's not what you were elected to do. So I ask all of you this evening to think about that when that vote comes, of what is your role as the township government? Is your role to send these letters on the behalf of the township, or is your role to stick to the 3 mandatory functions that are put in front of you? Thank you.
All right, thank you, Missy. That concludes the public comment. Thank you all.
Okay, we have Clerk Vicki Bose's report.
Motion to approve the January 10th, 2021 monthly township board meeting minutes.
Motion. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any nays? Okay, and we wanted to make public a letter that we had received from the Attorney General. Okay, we wanted to make a letter public that we had received from the Attorney General.
Vicki, wait.
Louder.
Okay, sorry. Okay, we wanted to make public a letter we had received from the Attorney General, and this was on February 9th. It was an OMA request for review. It says, "Dear Mrs. Bonicki," Mrs. The determination is issued pursuant to Section 3.5 of the Open Meetings Act for reasons set forth below. The Public Access Bureau has determined that no further action is warranted in this matter. On November 15th, 2021, this office received a request for review alleging that the Homer Township Board violated the requirements of OMA during its November 8th, 2021 regular board meeting. You first allege that the board failed to provide a member of the public the entirety of her 3-minute public comment period. You also allege that a board member made a disparaging remark concerning you and your children that asked for the remark to be removed from the record. Finally, you asserted that the board discussion near the end of the meeting became disorderly and that some members of the public had greater speaking privileges than others. Section 2.06 of the OMA provides that any person shall be permitted an opportunity to address the public officials under the rules established and recorded by the public body. The intention of Section 2.06 is to guarantee members of the public the right to address public bodies under the rules established by the public body. A public body violates Sections 2.6 of OMA when it prohibits a member from the public from addressing its members in a manner inconsistent with its established and recorded rules. Or 2, prohibits a member of the public from providing public comment pursuant to its established and recorded rules. But those rules unreasonably restrict the person's right to address public officials. The Public Access Bureau has previously determined that no warrant to warrant further action by this office. A request for review concerning public comment must set forth facts indicating that a member of the public attempted to address public officials during an open meeting but was improperly restricted by the public body from doing so. So the OMA did not warrant further inquiry because the request for review did not allege that anyone who attempted to address the board during an open meeting was improperly denied or opportunity to speak. Based on the information you have provided, the board's rules governing public comment provide each member of the public with 3 minutes. The office has reviewed the relevant portion of the posted recording of the board's November 8th, 2021 meeting. The audience member in question was called on at 9 minutes and 43 seconds into the recording and began her comments at approximately 9 minutes and 50 seconds. At approximately 12 minutes and 47 seconds, an unidentified individual stated, "Thank you for your comments." Therefore, the audience member continued to read from her prepared remarks in an elevated tone, all while various board members called for order and informed the individual that her allotted 3 minutes had elapsed. At approximately 13 minutes and 32 seconds, the board called for a recess and the audience member stated, "I'm done," and left the podium. Based on our review of the posted recording, at no point did the board attempt to restrict the individual's comments or otherwise interrupt her until after it had determined that her 3 minutes had elapsed. Although it is unclear whether the 3-minute period begins when the member of the public is called upon or when she or he begins their remarks, in this instance, the audience member spoke for nearly 4 minutes after being called upon, indicated she had completed her comments and willingly left the podium. Accordingly, under these circumstances, this office concludes that no further action is warranted on this allegation. The final 2 parts of your request for review did not include facts supporting an allegation of the OMA violation or are otherwise beyond the scope of the Public Access Counselor's authority, which is limited to resolving disputes of alleged violations of OMA and the Freedom of Information Act. Your claim that a board member made a disparaging remark concerning you and your children, then ask that that comment be deleted from the record, does not allege a violation of OMA. Even had it alleged an OMA violation, the requirements of OMA do not apply to individual board members. Rather, the requirements of OMA apply to public bodies as defined by the Act. While the posted recording indeed reflects the board member in question requested that his comment be removed from the record, requires only a meeting minutes include a summary of discussion on all matters proposed, deliberated, or decided, and a record of this vote, of any votes taken. Because the board member's comments would not have been required to be included in the meeting minutes under these circumstances, the office concludes that no further action is warranted as to this allegation. Finally, concerning board discussion that occurred near the end of the meeting, you allege that rules or order are not a priority at these meetings, and some residents have more speaking privileges than others. OMA does not have a provision that addresses the rules or mechanics of running a meeting, nor does OMA require the board to take certain actions to maintain order under these circumstances. To the extent that you have alleged that the board violated the public comment sections of OMA, you have not provided facts indicating that any individual attempted to address the board during the period of public comment earlier in the meeting, but was improperly prohibited to do so. And then it just goes on to say about what the OMA is about. This letter serves to close this file. If you have any questions, please contact me at the Springfield office. So I felt it was important to read this letter, especially regarding the accusations, some accusations that we've been accused of. Thank you, and that concludes my report.
Well, thank you, Vicki. And we will continue to read letters from the Attorney General as they clear us from all the Open Meetings Act violations. That's what OMA means, because we haven't done anything wrong, and those that accuse us are just wasting their time because we're not breaking any rules. So,
Excuse me, Steve.
yes, sir.
What is our legal fees on these?
I was just going to ask that. I didn't know.
You know what? I haven't added them up, but my guess is somewhere around 15 G's. I got to add them up. I mean, if somebody wants them, I can add them up and find out. But we had, I can't tell you how many. I would say probably about 15 to 20 complaints, you know, to the Attorney General. And each complaint to the attorney, I don't know the exact number, I'm just trying to do it from memory, because I didn't know I was going to be asked that. But each complaint I sent to the attorney, because I'm not going to answer the Attorney General and use the wrong language. So the attorney answers the questions. I've had complaints to the health department, and you know, I talked to the attorney and he told me what to say. You know, and I just said it. You know, so that was concerning masks, and the health department said that we should all wear masks, and I said it's a mandate from a dictator, not a law. It's a recommendation, and we're going to consider masks optional, and that's where we're at. And so since then, I haven't had any problems. It's mask optional, and if you look in the room, most of the people are no mask, so optional is just fine with the majority of the people in here. So, you know, that's where that went. But we did spend a lot of money. But, you know, that's how government works. When somebody doesn't like what you're doing, they, you know, file complaints on you to see what can stick. And obviously nothing stuck yet. And I'm sure they're going to continue, so, you know, but that's all right. We're going to be here for a long time. So we'll go on to the next thing. Now this one needs a little explanation, and I'll give it after I read it. Motion to approve hiring Jennifer Consolino to write grants for Homer Township. her compensation would be by stipend not to exceed 1% of the total grant funds that she gets approved. Well, I had a person named Jennifer that decided she'd like to get involved with grant writing. So I said, fine. But she said she can't get any jobs anywhere because she has no experience. So would I be willing to hire her if she's taking classes and trying to learn how to do grant writing? So I said, sure. So I called my attorney and asked him, how this works, and he said, well, you're not paying any fees, we're not paying for any of her school, we're not paying anything, except if she can get a grant, then we will give her up to 1% in a stipend. Well, anybody else in the township, state of Illinois, for that matter, anywhere in the United States, anybody who wants to get a grant for Homer Township, I'll give them the same deal. So if you go out and get a $2 million grant for us, I will be glad to give you 1%.
You were your boy.
Just think about it. So I know it's on video, so everyone can know. I am offering the same deal to anybody that lives anywhere that speaks English. You got to speak English because I don't understand the foreign language too good. So, but on second thought, anybody, even if they don't speak English, is okay because I'll get an interpreter. Because if they get us a grant, it'll be well worth paying an interpreter. So that's where that is. So the word hire is probably the wrong word. It probably should have said accept proposals or something. But
Steve, I think that there's just some clarity, surrounding that it's not grants that we currently get.
Right, not nothing.
I just think that there needs to be some clarity surrounding what this is.
It's new grants, nothing like the CBGD that we get. She doesn't get anything unless she personally gets it, and it's nothing that we have now. And the only grant that we're going for right now is the CBDG grant. That's it. And then we got the other ones, it's still a CBG. I can't even say
CDBG.
Community Economic Development Grant. So that's the only grant that the township's been trying to get, and she might find other grants like from Coca-Cola, or Pepsi, or Nike, or whatever. And God bless her, she finds something. And anybody else in the room, anyone, is more than welcome to do the same thing. I'd love it if you guys could come up and say, I just got a $10,000 grant. I'd love it. You get $100. That's a good deal. So
I think that we probably need some parameters surrounding it, because you can get grants for all kinds of things that we may or may not be interested in.
well, we won't get them if we don't qualify. So they won't get no grant. They won't.
Right.
We gotta qualify.
Right.
So
is it going to come back to the board to approve the application for the grant?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Well, everything in this township, everything gets approved by the board.
Right. Just clarity. So if someone wants to write a grant, they have to bring it to the township. We'd approve the application before the grant was submitted.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, if they wanted to get a grant for something stupid, we tell them no.
Well, I mean, I think that there could be grants out there for things that we may not want to have in the township.
Right. But you got to start somewhere, and obviously the language for this is real vague. But the whole point is, anybody that wants to get involved with grants, come to the township. We'll help you out. We'll let you go look for grants. But if there's any fees, you got to pay your own fees. You got to pay for your own gas and mileage or whatever you're doing. You got to, if anything involved with it, you got to pay it yourself. So, the township help nothing. All we can do is gain. We cannot lose on this. And they get nothing from our CBDG thing, that Roy's talking about. We've been doing it for probably, 15 years? At least. And it's going to continue. When through the county, we're trying to get a deal where we do the entire project. I don't know if you knew that.
Yes, I did.
So these grants are important, and if someone's volunteering, as long as we don't got to pay any money, I figured good. And the only reason I put the person's name on there is because as soon as she finds something, they're going to go, oh, how the heck did she get it? She's one of your friends. And then I'd say, well, she asked me, I said, yeah, well, I want to make sure it's transparent and everybody knows. Everybody should know this is transparent. That is a friend of mine. And if somebody's my enemy, they can get it too. I don't care.
Even if it's stupid.
So with that,
Supervisor, can I recommend the motion be motion to approve without the word hiring then? If
Yeah.
that's the problem, motion to approve Jennifer writing grants for Homer Township
yeah,
on the terms you just mentioned.
okay.
That would be the motion.
That would be the motion. So the motion will be, we're going to strike the word hiring. And the motion to approve Jennifer Consolino to write grants for Homer Township.
Or anyone?
Would be by stipend not to exceed 1% of the total grant funds that get approved.
Or anyone?
Or anyone.
Or anyone.
Anybody.
Well, then
Could you write it in there?
Ellen, if you want to get up, I don't want to be answering questions from the audience.
Okay, no, I don't want you to answer it,
Anybody in the
except
audience
can you
wants
write it
to
in
write
there?
a grant and go get it, God bless you.
It should be in the motion.
Write it in the motion.
This is not public comment anymore.
Please.
Write it in the motion.
Please,
One
let
second.
us talk about it.
Can we also include that as approved by the board?
Yeah.
In the motion, I think it'd be a good idea.
It's inherent and appropriate, but what's on the agenda is for Jennifer, so I would like to leave it for this purposes on the motion related to Jennifer.
Okay, so fine.
But everyone heard the mayor's comments and.
Mayor.
Supervisor, I'm sorry, I could do too many of these.
So motion to approve, just take out the word hiring as of right now.
Take out the word hiring. It's on the agenda as Jennifer, so we'll leave that. The motion is her name, but the supervisor, everyone heard his comments. And
Right.
that, other circumstances can be addressed at other times, so that, that's not shutting anyone out here.
Sure.
So I would recommend handling it that way.
Okay, so you guys got the motion, or you got
Well,
something?
one thing I wanted to say first of all, by Jennifer approaching us for this, it's someone we trust. She's a village trustee, so she obviously cares about the village. I don't see anything wrong with that, and she's obviously qualified. She'll present it to us. We got elected on transparency, so everyone will know what we're doing from the first step to the final step. Okay?
Can we please keep our comments to ourselves right now? If you want to talk, please go outside. So, thank you.
So the final thing, and one thing I want to say about regarding transparency, every Saturday morning at 8:30, we're at our office. Anyone could come and talk to us. We're open for any conversation, any discussions. We don't hide from anybody. So that's, I just wanted to say, first of all, thank you for Jennifer for giving or presenting this opportunity. All she's doing is helping the township. She's going out to get a grant, which means that for every 10,000 hours we receive, she gets what, $10? And how many grants get approved that are applied for? Maybe 1 out of 20? So she's going to apply for 20 grants, it's taking time away from her family, her work, or any personal things. It could be 20 hours worth of work for 1% of one grant. So I'd applaud her for approaching us with that opportunity, and all it does is helps the township. Nobody loses. So that's all I have to say.
So my only question is, if, I have no issue with having someone write grants for us, but do we need to also, if we're gonna apply it to anyone else, is that the second meeting? What would be the?
I would recommend if you want to vote on that, you put that on another, but obviously the mayor is being inclusive and not
One more thing I want to add too, and I don't think Jennifer would have a problem with this. So let's say I want to write a grant. She's obviously learning on how to do it. I don't think she would refuse a phone call or a conversation. Jennifer, how do I finish this grant? You would have no problem with that.
I'm okay.
So she's not going to get the 1%. I am, and she helped me to help the township. So I mean, that's in itself is a winner.
So next month, we'll put on the agenda that anybody, just so to make it more clear, anybody that wants to get a grant for the township is more than welcome to go out and try, and there'll be the same thing. We don't pay any expenses, at zero, nada. So no expenses will be paid by the township. The only way anyone will make any money off this is if they get us a grant. So next month, we will put it on our agenda to vote that is open to every single person in the whole United States and Canada and Mexico and all 7 continents. Because I really don't care. If somebody's going to go out and work and get the township money, I don't care where they live.
Okay, first I need a motion for,
Motion.
I'll second the motion.
okay. And then I'm gonna do a roll call. Let's see, trustee Bonomo,
Probably yes.
trustee Conley,
Yes.
trustee Rivera,
Yes.
trustee Adolf,
Yes.
supervisor Ballard.
Yes.
Okay, motion passes. Thank you.
Okay, this is another controversial one. Motion to write a letter to the State House and State Senate against proposed legislation for the state of Illinois regarding forced detainment, vaccinations, quarantine, testing, examinations, counseling, and treatment. In other words, there's a bill in the House right now that anybody that doesn't have the shot, a vaccination is something that cures things. The shot is just a shot that helps prevent. If you read the science, we go by science in Homer Township. We don't go by what we hear on the news. We go by real science. At our Homer Township meeting at the 28th, we have a special guest. If any of you guys want to come, he's an expert on pharmaceuticals. And he's going to come and he's going to talk about the shot, because that's what it's called. It's a shot. And anybody interested is more than welcome to come, and you'll hear some science from an actual person that does it for a living. But anyway, the township board, I didn't even call anybody. I just put it out, and if they don't want to vote for it, they don't want to vote for it. But in the United States, we have freedoms. And we're not going to sit by as a township and give up our freedoms and end up like Australia, where they lock you up because you don't have a shot. And that's what's going on. And in the House, they're trying to do it, and I'm not going to stand for it, so I wrote that. I didn't call any of the trustees and ask. I have no clue if they like it or not. That's up to them. But I want to go on the record that I don't want any of my freedoms taken away, period. So with that, I read it. Anyone want to make a motion to move it forward?
A motion.
Second?
I'll second it.
I'd like to make a comment about it.
Okay.
Just so you know. So I am concerned with the overreaching powers that this is going to, for our elected offices. If we endorse a letter that we send to the Illinois senators and the state representatives, I'm concerned that we're making statements that might be liable and that are misleading a little bit. Specifically in the letter, Steve uses a ruling on February 4th when he states that the judge issued a statewide restraining order from requiring students to wear masks in the classroom. She also determined that additional emergency orders from Governor Pritzker were null and void. I've read the 29 pages, and I would say that the statement isn't necessarily true. The judge did not issue a statewide restraining order. She issued a temporary restraining order for the named plaintiffs in the court case. She denied their request to name all students as a class, which means that she did not say that this order referred to all students. The bottom of the ruling on page 28, she says this court denied the plaintiff's request for class certification. Had she ruled that it was a class, her ruling would apply to all students. She specifically did not do that. I believe that this is where most of the confusion comes into play when it comes to this case. So she also, the letter also states the additional emergency orders were null and void. Judge Griskow's ruling was actually very specific. On page 2 of her ruling, it lists the orders in question, Executive Order 2021-18, which was issued on August 4th, 2021. Executive Order 2021-22, issued on September 3rd, 2021. And Executive Order 2021-24, issued on September 17th of 2021. Those were the specific orders that were played on, or that were talked about for this ruling. So as an elected official that represents the community with regards to duties of the office of a trustee in Homer, I am going to ask that we vote no on sending the letters because it overreaches the power of our elected office.
Can I just comment on what you were just talking about was, I believe, the C.
No, the Illinois State Representative?
Okay.
Okay, is that what you wanted to repeat? Okay.
Isn't that what it is? Aren't we on C? I mean, aren't we on B?
We're on B, but that letter was...
The Illinois State Senators?
It was not about
Well, you were
really the
reading.
masking. It was more about
No, I understand, but so it says, in the letter, he writes that on February 5th, that the judge ruled. So that was specifically what I was doing.
Okay. And that could actually also be taken out of there if you'd like.
And
That was what,
Part of the thing,
you know,
okay.
I talked to probably 6 attorneys about it, and you get all kinds of different opinions. And what Angela says is one opinion, and I have a different opinion. And so I don't want to remove anything, because all the attorneys I talked to said that the letter was fine. So, you know, it's just a matter how you interpret the judge's ruling. Because that's what part of law is, interpreting what the judge says. And in the case of the next one with District 205, 205 was involved with the actual lawsuit, so the superintendent could not stop them from wearing a mask. So, and he did, and then he's forcing them to wear a mask on a bus. And he also put kids in the gym or in the cafeteria and told them that they get an F for the day. I mean, there's a lot of stuff that went on that violated our children's rights. And again, I'm not afraid to stand up for our rights. When we stop standing up for our rights, we end up with a country that isn't what I grew up in. And everybody else in this room, if you want to give up your rights, God bless you, but I don't. So I will continue to fight for our rights, period.
So I'm not asking anyone to give up their rights. I worry about the overreach of power. Our office isn't elected to speak on this issue. So my concern is, how liable are we going to be if we're supporting things that have nothing to do with the township business? That is my concern.
That's an opinion also. That's why it's good. It's good that you're talking to get a difference of opinion. So, has anybody got anything else to say?
I have a question for our attorney. Is there, do we have any legal obligation or liability to anything that could potentially come back to us on this particular letter? And is it an overreach of power?
A public statement or communication where you're interpreting a judge's order, I don't see how there'd be any liability.
Okay, overreach of power?
For the township on that. Your elected officials, you're certainly allowed to lobby your own elected officials. I understand the concerns about being accurate. I mean, that's always a good thing, but I'm just reading this for the first time tonight, so I'm not trying to cop out, but I inherently don't see a problem. It would bring liability on the township for sending
no liability.
And we have tort immunity. That's, in other words, as a body here, we have tort immunity against anyone suing for what we say.
So ultimately, the vote will come down to just being on record for the township, is that?
Correct. And nobody can sue us because, like I just said, we have tort immunity. And the attorney can verify, right?
Township, and like all local governments, have that defense available to them.
And the village also has tort immunity.
And, you're not defaming anyone in this.
We're just saying our opinion.
I don't see it raising those kind of liabilities.
I mean, like Angela has a different opinion. That's cool. There's nothing wrong. That's what the United States is founded on, opinions.
I think it's more or less along the line of what you've asked, and just kind of questioning the liability of it and questioning the wording of it.
We have no liability.
I don't see it as
I'm concerned about the overreach of power. I think that we wouldn't appreciate the school board coming here and telling us anything. I wouldn't want to go to someone else's meeting and think that I had a voice that means something because of the title in which I was voted in and elected for. I feel like I want to stay in my lane. If government keeps overreaching and we just assume we speak for everyone, that's a danger to our democracy as far as I'm concerned. We shouldn't be trying to govern other places. We need to focus. It distracts on what we're supposed to be doing here. It's a concern of mine.
Any other comments?
Yeah, we got the motion.
And a second? Okay. You want to call the roll?
Sure. Okay, trustee Conley.
Yes.
Trustee Rivera.
Yes.
Trustee Adolph. No. Trustee Bonomo.
Yes.
Supervisor Holly.
Yes.
Okay, motion passes.
Rubber stamp.
Okay, the next one is a motion to send a letter to District 205 concerning the superintendent's stance on mandates. And I guess it would be the same arguments again for that one. But, so I don't know, does anyone have any comments?
Well, one thing I would like to say is, when we were voting, we discussed a lot of things through our elected process when we were going for this position. And yeah, the three things that we cover, it goes far beyond that in terms of discussion. And we bring things to the table so we can have these open discussions. And it's all based on opinion. This letter written about the superintendent, it's just an opinion-based letter. It's nothing that's law. It's nothing that's official. Okay, with her not wanting to wear a mask, it's her choice. Or the parents discuss it with her. She's not going to berate a kid that walks in with a mask on. It doesn't. The whole thing with this, it's just where we could all get together or get along. And if Angela wants to wear a mask at a meeting and I don't, so what? Now it comes to social issues. If gay, straight, whatever, it shouldn't matter. It's an opinion. It's something you choose or you're born with. Some people think you just have to deal with it, live with it. That's all. And don't berate the person who's different that you think is different than you. Just get along.
Write the letter. Why write the letter? Why write the letter? I would please, guys.
For his constituents.
I would ask.
That's
Because we want it. Because I want
Please,
to.
guys, let's not have the letter.
We're all constituents.
Thank you.
Can everyone be quiet so you can hear her?
So I agree that the divisiveness of all of this is way more than it needs to be. I don't understand why it needs to be so divisive, and I am sorry for the children that are living through it. I really am. I think it's hard enough just to be a kid, and this makes it harder. So what I would say again is, I feel like we are overreaching. In this letter, Steve is asking that the taxpayers consider a lawsuit when he himself understands that you can't sue the school board based on the same tort law that would apply to us. I fear that if the information in the letter isn't correct, it says that Dr. McBride is joining in a lawsuit with the governor. There was no lawsuit to join. LTH the high school was named in a lawsuit, and then nobody joined in. They needed to represent themselves. And in fact, the insurance company was who sent the lawyer to defend the school. There was no tax dollars spent with that. That's not how that worked. I'm concerned because I feel like we're putting things together. We're not asking questions. We're deciding based on rumor and public opinion before we find out the facts and what's actually happening and what took place in the schools. I read a lot of comments, and people are so angry, and those kids just want to go to school. I mean, no one wants to wear a mask. I don't know anyone that's like, hooray, I get to wear a mask today. No one is doing that. The kids didn't wear masks today at the high school based on the metrics that their board approved. The judge's ruling had nothing to do with whether masks work or how we felt about masks. It was a due process issue. And Lockport Township School Board actually did, before the mandates came that were in this lawsuit, they approved their plan on when they could go mask optional on August 2nd. When all the executive orders came after the August 2nd school board. So I fear that we are talking about something without asking questions. And that's where I think we get into some trouble as a community, and then we get very defensive of our own thoughts and feelings, but we haven't really sought to understand what actually took place, what was the reasoning behind it. And I was on the school board for years, and it's not up to the superintendent to make any of these decisions. The superintendent follows, it's true though. I mean, the superintendent has to follow the policies set by the school board. The school board set the policy. If he goes around what the policy was, then there is severe issue that we should take, like as a community, we should be concerned about. But I think that this is misguided and causes just too much divide. in a community that's already trying to heal. We're on the path to getting beyond this and to continue to press down something that, again, I disagree with the statements that are in here. They're not based on what transpired. Unless someone spoke to the superintendent and can say that this is all true, I strongly encourage you not to vote on something. And if Steve wants to send a letter, I think he can, but he's using words that says, as the supervisor of Homer Township, he's using that office to write this letter. It's different. I feel that it's a different, when the mayor writes you a letter, and it's signed the mayor, it's different. It's not just Steve Ballich, I live in the district. He's saying, as the supervisor of Homer Township. And then we will endorse what he's saying, again, based on just Steve's ideas of what is true and not true. I would argue that we probably need to find out, before sending these, have the conversation with the school board or Dr. McBride. I mean, I think we need to seek to understand, again, where do we lie in all of these things? And to say, again, the orders, the emergency orders are not null and void. It's just the 3 that were on record. I mean, I don't know. And so I will say my biggest concern is what's going to happen when the appellate court rules and then the masks are going to go back on. I mean, what are the kids supposed to do then? Because you guys are arguing that they needed to listen to what the judge said. Does that mean that we're going to send another letter if the school doesn't ask the masks to go back on? Are we going to be just as outraged that we're not listening to that judge's order? Or are we only outraged when we listen to the judge's order that we don't like? Like, we can't have it both ways. Please don't. I thank you for trying, but that's not what I want. That's not helping either. I want to be very clear. No one is trying to be a horrible person. Everyone wants to do what they think is right. I think we all want that. Right? You want to live and let live. I am with you. I think that we're in it's such a ugly place. This isn't going to help us move past and move beyond. And so if we send this and the judge rules to overturn and now the masks have to come back on according to the case law the judge sets forth, are we going to send the order if the school doesn't imply the mask? Because if the answer is no, we shouldn't send this one. I'm sorry, I'll get off that horse. Sorry.
Thank you for your opinion, because I like that you hear other sides. But the reality is that in Illinois, we're not following real science. We follow just what the governor wants, and to me, it's all about control. And it's my opinion, but
I'm not disagreeing that opinion.
No, right. In Florida, it's wide open. United Kingdom, they said no more mandates at all. No more shots, no more masks, you do whatever you want. It's all optional. You go in other states, there's only a handful of states now that are making people do this. All right, so, and the other side of it is, look at Israel. Was 90% vaccinated, and they're all getting it. And then look at it around here, your friends. How many friends got the so-called vaccination and ended up getting COVID? Once, twice, 3 times. Other people never got the shot, and they never got the COVID. So there's so much unanswered questions. Nobody knows the real answers. And that's kind of where the problem is. So right now, this letter, the reason why this is going out, because how dare the superintendent put our children in the gymnasium or in the cafeteria and then tell them they get an F for the day on their test.
Ladies and gentlemen,
lots of people, the people called me up, lied. Come on.
Yeah, people lie, Steve.
So I will say that I was in the auditorium with the students. No one was in the gymnasium because they have gym class. No one was in the cafeteria, they have lunch. There were teachers, there were probably 15 counselors. The kids were treated with respect. There were pizzas ordered, and then they could not get the pizzas. But if they were in regular class, you can't deliver your kid a pizza. So I know that, again, there's so much anger surrounding it, but I sat there willingly. I had other things I could have been doing, and that's where I spent my afternoon. So, talking to the kids. They're good kids that were in there, good kids.
I feel sorry for them.
I think everyone felt sorry for them.
Feel sorry for
So anyway, I think maybe we should just vote on it.
Well, I just want to say one more thing. And, you know, I'm friends with the FOP president of Chicago, with the police department. You see what these truckers are doing with their this really has nothing to do with COVID mandate masks or anything like that. It's about government power, okay, and telling people what to do. They make it easy now for kids to take school off and stay home and on the computers. To where the first and second graders have yet to see their teachers smile. Think about that. For 2 years, they haven't seen their teachers' faces, for God's sake. You know, but again, it's all opinion based. If you want to go to school with the mask on or off, it doesn't matter. But the whole idea, it's not about this. So now it's about, if you don't wear a mask, you can't walk into a restaurant or whatever. What's next? If you have a third child, you have to give it up if you want to come in our restaurant. I mean, it's about government power. It's got to stop sometime. And this is government overreach. By forcing people to do something. When did you hear legislators discuss any of these issues? Governor Pritzker says you must wear a mask. I didn't hear Durkin, I didn't hear any of our state representatives discuss it and debate. The whole idea to get a decision made is debate. That's why we're here. In order for Steve to get something through, we have to approve of it. When have you heard someone approve what Pritzker wants to do to you? Nobody. You know, and that's, you know, it's our law, it's freedom, it's debate. Debate is where you come up with a decision. And there's been no debate on this COVID. It's all been do this or else.
So I respect what you just said, but that's not what this letter is saying. This letter isn't saying that we agree that Pritzker shouldn't have done this. This letter is saying things that I would say are patently untrue. Dr. McBride did not join a lawsuit. There was no lawsuit to join. The school district was sued. And then when the judge ruled that it wasn't a class certification, so the ruling applied to the students that were named. The students that were named at Lockport Township High School didn't wear a mask that day. I don't know why would it apply to all students if she refused to classify the students as all? So that's where the confusion is, and I appreciate that. I think there are lawyers on both sides that would say, nope, it applies, you know, I get that. But I would also argue that I think the school was trying to follow their own metrics. The school did approve their own plan, and their plan came within the metrics, I think, as of Thursday. So Friday, when they got their metrics in, they went mask optional. They followed their own plan. So if we're concerned about overreach of power, I worry what this letter does.
Steve, can this be tabled or not?
We can do whatever you guys want.
Actually,
to be honest with you, on Monday, there's supposed to be no mask. So yesterday, today, no mask. So this just happened to be, we're voting on it today, but they don't have masks. And I didn't remove it because I figured, well, we got it on there, and if you guys want to do it, we'll do it anyway.
Can we table it and bring it back maybe to a vote next week? So we can take
if you want, we could, you know what we probably could do is just remove it from the agenda.
Right now, no one's made a motion either, so it's not technically not an issue, so we don't want to.
So we could remove it, and then if they start doing it again, rewrite something, and the next time I won't write it, I'll get the attorney to write it, so it'll be better language.
Guys, please, I know you want to have a conversation, but please.
But we can remove it. So if you guys want to remove it, you can make a motion to remove it, and then we just, because really, it's kind of a new point because the masks are optional. So if you want to remove it, and then we can bring it back to something similar on a later date, because it'll be different circumstances. If you guys want to do that, that's fine with me.
I'll second it.
Any motion?
Rob?
And Mike?
Yeah.
And then all in favor of removing the letter?
Aye.
Aye, sorry. Anybody? Okay, any nays? Sorry, I wasn't sure, without a double negative, how to do that. Okay, so the motion passes to remove the letter.
Thank you.
No, no problem.
No, it's like everyone could have talked and they didn't. So.
No, most, you know what, it's good to have discussion. We're a transparent board. We can have disagreements. We're human. We're supposed to have disagreements. Oh, you don't get along with your husband all the time, do you? Oh, he does.
Hey, it's Valentine's Day.
Yeah, but that's healthy. Debate is healthy. Okay, motion to approve appointment of attorney Mary Dickerson of Bond Dickerson and Conway to serve as a special counsel to the township at a rate not to exceed that of the township attorney to work on matters at the direction of the township supervisor and township attorney, including representing the township in current pending tax objection cases. What happened is prior to us getting into office, there was a tax objection case filed. Our attorney advised me that it would be in our best interest to hire a different firm because they handle this other firm as a better attorney for
Thank you.
That's what they do as their expertise.
They specialize in that, and our office has worked with these attorneys before, and we recommend them. So they're very good.
So we have to defend the case because they're asking for money back from being overtaxed. And this isn't now, it's prior to us, so everybody knows.
I'll make the motion. Second?
I'll second.
Okay. I'll take a roll call. Trustee Adolph?
Yes.
Trustee Manomo?
Yes.
Trustee Conley?
Yes.
Trustee Rivera?
Yes.
Supervisor Ballard?
Yes.
Okay, motion passes.
Okay, motion to increase rent for the horse farm located at the Purdy Farm on 6.2 acres. The owners currently pay $800 a year for the property, while the property taxes cost the township $1,900 per year. So the amount of money that we pay in taxes isn't covered by the rent. So it's kind of like something that slipped by, I'm sure, because if the other board knew about it, I'm sure they would have remedied it, but they didn't. So it falls to us, so we want to increase it to $2,500, which is a very tiny profit. And somebody had called me today and asked, well, what if we made it a little bit less? And I said, the only where you can rent 6 acres of land for $3,000? You know, I checked it out. The answer is no. So it's not that we're trying to hurt some small business, but at the same time, we gotta at least pay for our taxes that we gotta pay, and I'll make a little bit of profit. So we're making $600 for the whole year. You know any landlord that would do it that cheap? I don't think so. So that's where we're at on that, and we'll probably raise it every year from now on because it's on our radar. But I need a motion for that.
Motion.
I'll second the motion.
I'll take a roll call. Trustee Manomo?
Yes.
Trustee Conley?
Yes.
Trustee Rivera?
Yes.
Trustee Adolph?
Yes.
Supervisor Ballard?
Yes.
Motion passes.
Motion to approve a change in the rent at the Trantina House on the Trantina Farm from $1,200 to $1,300 with up to a 5% yearly increase. The current tenant has been there since 2015 with no rent increase. So he has a 3-bedroom house for $1,300 with the new increase in Homer. So, any comments, or do you want to just make someone make a motion?
I'll make a motion.
Second?
I'll second.
All right, roll call. Trustee Adolph?
Yes.
Trustee Manomo?
Yes.
Trustee Rivera?
Yes.
Trustee Conley?
Yes.
Supervisor Ballard?
Yes.
Okay, motion passes.
This is FYI, Homer Township wrote a check for $1,167 in support of the Northern Will County SRA for 12 special needs individuals. So we sent them their check. The next is a motion to approve the supervisor to purchase a Ford F-250 for approximately $25,000 through the road district state bid for park district equipment. And the old truck that they have is a 2010, and it's got 130,000 miles on it. And rather than go out and buy a new vehicle for the assessor's office, which needs another vehicle, because unfortunately, somebody was driving their own personal car, and because they only have one vehicle, doing township business, and if they got in an accident, they have no insurance from the township, and their insurance company probably wouldn't insure me anyway, because they have to have that on their insurance policy. So we're going to give the old truck, the 2010, to the assessor's office, and then the new truck will go to the park district. And we're saving money because the old truck, I'd be lucky to get $4,000 for it. Because it, like I said, 2010 with 130,000 miles and it's kind of beat up. So we need to get a motion to approve purchasing the new truck.
I'll make the motion, but I want to clarify, you don't mean Park District.
No, it says road district.
Yes.
Oh, I'm sorry, park department.
Thank you.
Park department,
I just
I'm
wanted to
sorry.
make that, that's okay.
Thank you.
Road district, park department.
Yeah, sorry, I thought I made it.
Parks
You
Department.
did, yeah. I just heard it, and so I want to make sure that we're clear.
Well, you know I can't read something.
That's all good. That's all good.
I'm not afraid to say screw up something.
Second. Roll call, trustee Rivera.
Yes.
Trustee Rivera, trustee Manomo.
Yes.
Trustee Adolph.
Yes.
Trustee Conley.
Yes.
Supervisor Bowers. Motion passes.
Okay, now we're going to the road highway commissioner, Filio's report.
Happy Valentine's Day, everybody. Okay, snow plowing and salting. Everybody's concerned about that right now. So I thought I'd touch on a few items with that. Our last major snowstorm, I did a performance evaluation on how the guys did, and I had a meeting with the Public Works Director of Homer Glen and some of the department heads on some issues that we had in the snowstorm, specifically Lockport Heights, Roy. I don't know if you noticed it, but there were some issues with the driver leaving Lockport Heights before he was done to assist another Homer Glen Road, and we corrected that and it won't happen again. You didn't complain though, so I don't know. Usually you call me.
I let everybody else complain. I saw it on Facebook. I didn't know.
I was surprised. I thought maybe you're out sick that day.
Yeah.
So anyways, Brent Woods and myself have a great working relationship. We're working together and we're making sure that we're smoothing out all the bumps and all of the small issues that might happen during plowing and salting. And again, if you have an issue, please call my office. If it's a township road, if it's an unincorporated section, please call my office. Don't bother Homer Glen, call my office first. I'd appreciate that because we can't be everywhere during a snowstorm. We don't know if people are having issues or everything's going great. And we have a policy, it's called a wet pavement policy. Before the snowplow driver leaves your subdivision or leaves the arterial roadways, it's going to look like wet pavement. And that's the way it's going to be. And you can't leave your route after the storm's over until it happens. So that, in case you were wondering, that's what our policy is. So we have some policies that we're going to post on our websites. The Homer Township Highway Commissioner has a little blog and thing on our website, and we're going to be posting our policies, so if everybody has issues, they can either call me or look on the website on how we do things now. And the policy that we have is going to also be posted on the Homer Glen website, on the way we're going to do things from now on. We also have plowing maps on the websites. You can find your house on the map. If you know the truck number of the location where you're at, you can call in and say, hey, truck number such and such has not been out here yet. Can you please give them a call and get them out here? So that helps me knowing which truck number to dispatch to the bad spot. We had some truck issues. We had 5 trucks go down in the last storm, and we have approximately 15 trucks. So that's a third of our forces. And so you ask, well, what do you do in that case? So that's why we need a policy. to be able to mitigate what happens if there's 5 trucks down. So we have to plow longer, we have to get guys to do overtime. We also have on retainer some temporary plow drivers and trucks that we can hire if we can't get all the trucks out there in time and if it's a bad storm. So we have checks and balances that we're putting in place to make sure that we catch all the issues. So that's plowing and salting. The build out of the road district building, we did receive all of our permits 2 days ago. So we're going ahead with that. We're going to be bidding everything out. If you know anybody that does paving or build outs with buildings or utilities or anything like that for water or sewer, we're going to be sending everything out to bid by the end of this week. So have them pay attention to the website. It's going to be posted on there. And the township is going to be posting it when I get it to you. Fencing, we did put our fencing up inside the yard. We did not put fencing in south of our yard to 151st Street because we wanted to make sure that we don't inhibit the parking and the operations for the Homer Fest. So Dan, we're going to do that after the fest is over. Let's see here. Next. The Roadway Program. We have a $350,000 budget for 2022, and I selected 6 streets to be improved. They total about a mile in length. They are 140th Street, McDonald Drive, Mackenzie Avenue, Muir Drive, Scott Drive, and Shetland Court. So if you live on any of those streets and you have any questions about what we're going to do to your street, please call my office. That work is going to be done this summer. We have issues with the Smith Road. I don't know if anybody's been on it. It's the Smith Road Bridge over Bull Run Creek. I don't know if everybody's been over it. It's like Swiss cheese from salt eating away at the deck. And I'm having discussions with some prefab deck companies to talk about just replacing the deck to save money. Because if we were to replace the whole deck and substructure, we're talking over $400,000, which blows my budget for the year and takes money from next year's budget. So because the rating on the bridge is above a 3 from when I inspected it, I think all we need is a new deck, and we're going to do rehab to the substructure, which should be okay. So I'd like to try to get both of those items into the budget for this year, both the Smith Road deck replacement and the 1 mile of roadway that I just talked about. So that's the roadway program. We are using we're using MFT funds to supplement that. All of the CDBG grant funds went to the sanitary district in Lockport Heights. And lastly, special needs grant. I don't know if Ellen left. She mentioned she had a special needs adult son. The Homer Township Highway Commissioner Special Needs Grant is something that we've had advertised on our sites for the past 3 months. We've only gotten a few applications. It's for adult kids that are over the age of 18 that live in Homer Township. And we have 5 awards that are going to the finalists. I think we've only had 3 or 4 applications so far. We've been reaching out to a lot of different special needs organizations and even to the state of Illinois to try to help spread the word. So if you know anyone that has a special needs adult in Homer Township, please pursue this. It's $5,000 to the person that is awarded the grant. We have monetary awards for the first, second, third, fourth runner-up.
Brent, when's the due date?
The end of February. So please, we don't even have enough for the 5 awards. There's a lot of people that have, and if there's issues with filing for it, because it's all explained in black and white on the websites, but if you have issues with it, there's people on the website that will answer your questions. So I'm begging everybody, please, if you know anybody, please pursue it. They got a great chance of getting it. And there's going to be an awards dinner in March, tentatively. If we don't get enough applications, we got to make a decision on what we're going to do. I'd like to try to end it at the end of February, but we'll see what happens. So spread the word if you can, please. I'd appreciate that. And that's about it.
Thank you, Brent. Okay, Assessor Carmen Morella.
Hello, everybody. How you guys doing? It's been a fun-filled month at the assessor's office. Thank you guys for, offering the truck. A lot of people don't understand exactly what assessors do. We actually go out to work sites and check on buildings that are being built in homes. A lot of times we're knee-deep in mud, and sometimes our regular vehicles aren't good enough for that. Plus, there's a lot of liability. So, right now we are assessing Silo Bend. It's probably one of the largest projects Electpark's doing. We have 250 homes we have to sketch and draw out. And sometimes you can't get the exact measurements on a blueprint, so we like to go out there and actually physically measure the buildings. And with the effort that we have in the office, those guys will go out, they'll measure, then they're knee deep in mud, and then they're coming back to the office, their car's muddy, this is muddy, and then they're sitting down and they're drawing these buildings. So we do a lot of stuff that people don't see us do in the background. But we want to make a fair and equitable assessment of your home, because that's what our job is. And like we always say, no one wants to be, duped on what their taxes are going to be, but at least we can give you guys a fair and equitable assessment of your homes, and that's what we're working on. And with that said, a lot of people don't understand, but on a whole, we are one part of Will County. And with that one part of Will County, we are evaluated as a township. So, we see a lot of numbers flying through, everybody talks about this and that, but if we really broke it down, we break it down as land, buildings, and farmland, because we always have to separate the farm from that. And we're a $1.8 billion valuation in our township. And I just want everybody to understand, when we're out there looking at assessments, it's not $1 or $2, it's $1.8 billion worth of assessments we're doing. So I just want to kind of throw that out. And it's fun. It's, it's a challenging, fun job. So I have to say that.
Thanks, Carmen. Okay, now we have committee reports. We have the senior committee.
Well, I'd like to start off with saying, as most people know, I've been doing bingos for the seniors, Zingo, as I call it sometimes. And today we actually had a Valentine's Day lunch for the seniors. We had 85 people show up for it this afternoon, this afternoon. And if you look on Facebook, it's been posted. I've had the village work with, the village and the township are working together on this. I'm anchoring it, and we brought them on board, and it's going great. Again, the 85 seniors that came in, Blueberry Hill was fantastic. They allowed us to have 2 rooms. They picked up half the tab on the lunch and gave me a whole menu of about 12 different items. And during the process, we did a little 50-50 raffle. One of the seniors won a good amount of money, and the second half went to the servers who helped serve the food and all. Graciously, the restaurant actually put up balloons and decorations for the seniors, handing out gifts to each one of them. So it was great. And I wanted to, Cindy Laha has been an anchor with me. She's been with me throughout this whole thing, going to all the bingos, been helping me with it. Sue and Amy help out as well. Our plan is we have the bingos, and then we're going to be planning additional events as we go on. For example, on the 24th, we're having a senior yoga session at the library. Sherry's been gracious enough to give us a room that we're going to hold it in. We have 25 seniors because of the COVID rules, so we're maxed out. So we're going to have 25 seniors trying out yoga, which is pretty cool. And then next month, we're going to do something different. And then our plans in September, we're going to have a senior expo. I'd expect anyone and everyone that has ideas for it. So we're looking at Homer Junior High maybe as a place to have businesses in the Homer Glen, Homer Township, and surrounding areas to come and show all our seniors what's available to them. And so that will build up as time will go. And then again, anyone has suggestions, I am reachable. You could contact me, come to Saturday morning. We have, for the Republican Committee, we have meetings, we have people, you could walk in anytime. You could text me, instant message me, whatever it is. But I'm all ears if you have any suggestions. But thank you.
Okay, there's nothing going on really with truck enforcement, is there, Brent?
I reached out to the sheriff's office. They're the last agency to coordinate the Tamlin Drive issue with. Once I have a meeting with them, I'm going to meet with the residents out there, and we're going to decide which mitigation strategy we're going to follow, and it's going to be bid and constructed this year. It ranges from traffic calming to a dead end, to speed bumps, to signing. There's a lot of different options.
Thanks, Brent. We have not given up on that thing. It's just, you know, problematic as is how to fix it. Okay, the next thing we have, the Land Identification Committee, Mr. Morella, our assessor.
Yeah, how you guys doing? We haven't really discussed much in the land committee, but I have been doing some work with putting together the actual property that Township owns. And I think Steve, you just got my booklet today, just to kind of understand where everybody's at. You know, it was a little bit all over the place, and we had to go read through deeds and try to find land, the land we owned actually, and then the changeover of some of the park properties to the village kind of, you know, messed up some of the books we had in the office. So I actually spent a little bit of time to actually put that together to give us an idea of what land we owned in the township. So.
And to give you an idea of what we're doing, we're going to take that book and we're going to give it to, we're going to get 25 copies, and we're going to give it to all the realtors in the area and tell them we're interested in selling the land and have and like an open space, we can sell open space as long as we keep it open space. So if it's active or passive recreation, it can be used for open space. So we have a person that is interested in putting something up like the Forge in Lamont. You know, I don't know if it's going to happen or not. A lot of interest, but we're not going to do anything without board approval. You know, we're just trying to raise money to use the land and then take the money, and we want to make a downtown center. And that would be behind Falcon Harry's in that area. And it's going to, what we're planning to do is going to use the things we have. Why should you have just a bunch of empty land sitting there doing nothing? It's a waste of money, a waste of a lot of stuff, because we got to maintain it. So we got to go out and take care of something that nobody uses. So we're going to attempt to eliminate that problem and make something really nice out of it. So make lemonade out of a lemon. So that's what our goal is. And land committee is headed up with Mark's the chairman, right? Yeah, Mark Garwin's the chairman, and Carmen and Angela are on that committee. And it's kind of been, right now, you know, they went through all the stuff and they've identified everything. Now we're moving into the next phase of, it's going to be really tedious now because we have to determine which, because as it turns out, some open space has parts that were not open spaces, that other parts that are. And so they're going to be spending a lot of time at the Recorder of Deeds office because we can't, the parts that are not open space you can sell as regular land, but the parts that are open space have to be sold as restricted land. And so we don't want to make any screw-ups. So we have to be real careful about what we're doing. And that's what their job is. And since Carmen's the assessor, it works out real good because he understands all those technical things that most of us don't get. But that's where we're headed with all this. We voted on doing this stuff a long time ago, and we're moving forward on it. It's just taking a little longer than we anticipated. So everyone's aware, and there'll be more to come. You know, the event center, we're going to start working on that. We have to get prices for doing some of the, what is it called, architectural. He's an engineer, so he handles it. But we're going to be able to, the goal is to park like 1,500 cars there and to be able to put up a tent that's small, a small tent for like a birthday party, or a giant tent like Homer has. And we got the room. And so instead of having people go elsewhere, they can come here. And if the village wants to move, because the Trantina farm is in Homer Glen now, so the village could do it at the Trantina farm, and since the taxpayers in the village are the same as the taxpayers at the township, we're not going to look to charge them a bunch of money, so it would be the same as using their heritage park. So, you know, it's going to be good for everybody. But we're going to bring all this forward. We're not just going to do it again. The board will vote on everything. So with that, we're going to motion to approve all payment of bills for January 2022. Founders Crossing Bond, Founders Crossing General, General Assistance, Open Space, Park Developer Contribution, Park, Town, Road, and Bridge, and Equipment and Building, including a bill for $16,293.85 from Ansel Glink Law Firm for services provided by the last administration. That $16,000 is a bill that wasn't paid from the prior board. It was sitting there in limbo over at Ansel Glink, and they called us and told us we own the money. We looked at it, our attorney looked at it and said, yeah, we do own the money. So that 16 grand is not part of anything that we've done. We don't use Ansel Glink. So anyway, that's why we separated it out so that it's transparent, that everybody knows that bill came from the past board, not from our board. And with that, I need a motion to approve the bills.
I'll motion.
I'll second the motion.
Okay, I'll take a roll call. Trustee Adolph.
Yes.
Trustee Manelmo.
Yes.
Trustee Conley.
Yes.
Trustee Rivera.
Yes.
Supervisor Rowledge.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Okay, under new business, we had a gentleman from Landworks. He's in the process of buying 7 acres next to Wingren Landscaping, and he wants to put something similar to Wingren, except on a more, something like a late touch of greenhouse. He wants to have an upscale landscaping place with showrooms and all that type of stuff. So Carmen Morella, our assessor, and myself and our administrator, Patty Colmar, we sat in with him, and he went over the whole plan. And it's a very good plan, and we all thought it was good. And we didn't have time, because again, the county is going to have to hear this case. So we have a plan commission, but the plan commission is our board. We don't have a different plan commission because we don't have that many cases. If we're lucky, we'll get 3 cases for the year. So normally I was going to tell the guy, hey, we can't do nothing for another month. That way we could put it on the agenda, but we couldn't put it on the agenda. So all I'm looking for is a consensus from our board, because you guys saw the plans in the, if you have a problem with it, could you tell me you have a problem, and then I won't move forward on it. But if you don't see a problem with it, then I would just tell the county, yeah, we're okay with it. So it's not a matter of voting on it. You can't vote because it's not on the agenda. But I don't want to move forward, going to the county and saying it's okay, because you guys just got it in your packet. And basically, Carmen, got anything you want to say about it?
Yeah, so I think some of the confusion could be is where it's located. So there's those warehouses on Gauger, and then you see there's like those white tents for like landscaping now. He's just next door to that. He wants to put a larger landscaping facility there. It does butt up against the property just to the west of the Trantina Farm, but it doesn't attach to Trantina Farm, so that's always, something if you guys had any concerns with that. It's a 7-acre parcel. There is a little bit of water wooded area that runs through it that he would not be developing on. So, but other than that, I mean, just kind of give you an idea where it's located, so helps out.
And he's, you want to tell him about it, what the environmental, what he says about the environment? Because he spent about a half hour explaining to us how important it is to make sure that whatever is done with this landscaping stuff that he sells even is environmentally
friendly. He's more like for environmental friendly.
Yeah, so
native plants and not, indigenous plants that would destroy stuff here and stuff like that. So he's more for selling products that we naturally see in our habitat now. He kind of went into pretty detailed with it. So.
No, he's real good. He's a landscape architect also.
He's looking to buy the property.
Yes.
He's buying
What
it.
he is,
So
no,
7
structures on
acres.
just tents or like, what
So he
kind
wants to put two showrooms on it in the front of the property.
building, his plan is to put a building
Yeah.
after a structure, okay.
Yeah, so he'll be here a long time, and there'll be a lot of sales tax coming from that, although we don't get sales tax, but the village will be if they annex in the village, or The county in the meantime will be happy because they'll be getting it. But,
See property tax revenue in the warehouse.
but it's gonna be a real nice, real nice place. I didn't see a reason for him to come and, sit through the meeting and, because I couldn't get on the agenda. Normally would have been in the beginning. So I would just ask if somebody has a objection that you say something, so I don't, we're not gonna vote. So if you have an objection, I just won't move it forward. But if nobody cares, then I'll take it that it's okay, and I can tell the county that the township has no objection.
Karen, I think it's in a position where it doesn't affect many residents, and it's an improvement.
And it'll look real nice. That's
Again,
right.
I would say it's room for less warehouses, so I'm all for it.
There'll be less warehouses, that's for sure. So I don't hear anybody saying no, so I'll assume you want to write in the minutes that nobody had a problem with it. So I'm going to let the county know that we have no objections. What a way to do something, right?
There you go.
But, you got to roll with the punches sometimes. Okay? Old business. Everything on here is still in the works, so don't worry about it. We don't have an executive session, and I need a motion to adjourn.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second it.
All in favor? Any nays?